Phil, thank you for chatting with us today. You're at the Cabinet Office, and you entered the in-house Recruitment DEI Awards. So
yes,
tell us a little bit about your organisation and why you wanted to enter that award.
indeed. So yes, Cabinet Office. The main focus of our work is in respect to emerging talent and early talent in terms of bringing in individuals through our graduate program, apprenticeships, internships. We have a near-miss scheme and various other approaches. So the actual submission was all about diversity and inclusion and the work we've done there. The graduate program is a sort of quite high-profile scheme. It's number 2 in the Times Top 100. And we have a goal of really trying to be the most inclusive program in the UK, essentially. And our drivers around D&I relate to hopefully giving opportunities to everyone from any background, being inclusive and open to everyone, and trying to use diversity as a lever for enhancing performance, organizational performance, that is, by focusing on things like cognitive diversity, regional diversity, skills diversity, team diversity, hopefully creating an inclusive culture, and of course focusing on protected characteristics such as gender, ethnicity, LGBTO and so forth, and socioeconomic background. So we've done lots of work over the years in that area, and I suppose the submission was really trying to reflect the work we've done, trying to promote that activity, maybe get some sort of recognition through the awards. But that was the general sort of focus of what we've done.
And as I understand it, you have, you take on hundreds of people into this graduate scheme each year. What sort of organizations are they placed into? Are you sort of acting as a clearing center for different departments across government?
We are indeed. I mean, we have 15 different schemes essentially, which relate to, say, human resources, finance, relate to the economist scheme. We have a policy scheme, diplomatic service, lots and lots of schemes really. So we are cross civil service. So we bring people in and they are then assigned to those different schemes based on different eligibility requirements, of course, based on the scores that they achieve, and they're moved in, and then there's a very comprehensive development program that they work through those different schemes. Obviously those different schemes do vary in terms of qualifications that arise and so on, but we are sort of focused on making sure we get the best talent, but the most diverse talent as well, if possible.
And your role as a psychologist and Chief Assessor, what's your interaction with the recruitment team like? Do you find you have ideas of best practice that have perhaps come out of academia? Sometimes the organisations are resistant to, and it's sort of very much a evidence data-driven decision making. How does that work?
They're generally very, very supportive of any sort of initiative, improvements, approaches. Everybody wants to achieve the very best outcomes, achieve the best diversity, achieve the best people, into the programs. So the collaboration is very strong, really is, in terms of, helping with the design, the assessor training, the delivery of the approach through different platforms, through assessment centers, virtual or otherwise, and really trying to get the very best outcome and also the best candidate experience. Of course, we want to make sure that those who come through do feel positively about the program. So we were just looking at some data for our assessment center that we're currently going through, and we're getting data of about 90% approval for the different exercises. So it's encouraging that we're getting that sort of data, and above all, maybe in terms of what we submitted in these awards, you know, some really good diversity outcomes as well in terms of representation.
Yeah, excellent. And it's sometimes the public sector is sort of seen as you know, can be seen by some as perhaps slow moving and a laggard in certain areas. But as far as I can tell, in terms of DE&I, certainly when it comes to, you know, employee relations and recruitment, actually the public sector leads the way and blazes the trail in things like, you know, balanced panel interviews, you know, attracting candidates from different backgrounds, anonymous applications, things like that. What do you think the private sector can learn from what you're doing right now in the Cabinet Office?
Cool. I mean, the private sector in some areas are doing very well, and you know, I really admire some of the work that's been done, say in terms of social mobility and other areas like that. Maybe we've had the opportunity to develop things in terms of data monitoring, which has been very significant sort of analysis. We have some amazing analysts in the civil service, not just for recruitment, but for all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
And we're really able to harness that capacity. So I think that's one area where we do excel. I think we excel in terms of a commitment to diversity and inclusion, wanting to bring in a diverse group, because we see it as so important in terms of delivering for the public. We don't want to be too homogeneous. We want to make sure that we represent the British public in terms of the people who are employed, and that they have the best ideas to create the best initiatives and policies for all sorts of areas, such as employment or education, and everything else that the civil service does.
Really interesting. I mean, look, congratulations on being shortlisted. It sounds like there's a very worthy inclusion on that shortlist. I wonder if there's something you're particularly optimistic about looking forwards in terms of I don't know, a new program you're piloting, or a new piece of technology you're trying within the sort of assessment field. Is there anything, any hints of green shoots on the horizon you're willing to share?
Green shoots, yes, absolutely. Well, I think we're definitely focused on things like AI, artificial intelligence, of course, as everybody else is, trying to make sure that we accommodate the opportunities there, you know, the incredible opportunities in terms of data processing, in terms of speed of recruitment analysis, and giving a very positive candidate experience, hopefully, but also just revising our approaches, trying to always update, trying to streamline as well, trying to reduce the amount of activity for a candidate in terms of the different stages, trying to make it as speedy as possible, trying to get the best metrics in terms of how they perceive. So it's those sorts of things that are significant. We've had some really, I think, amazing internships over the years. We've got an autism internship, multi-award winning summer internships, and they've been focused on diversity, and we're continuing that, but we're sort of broadening our approach. For example, moving from the autism program maybe towards a more neurodiversity program. So we're broadening, you know, just from the autism group towards other groups as well, and just continuing to do those sorts of things. We're developing our mentoring program for those who come onto the scheme, and we're developing a whole approach around learning and development relating to D&I.
Fantastic. Phil, thank you very much for speaking with us today. Okay. Some fascinating stuff there, and I'd love to stay in touch with you to find out how some of those programs progress.
Oh yes, love to. Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you.